Hello there guys, and welcome to this explained video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the reality expansion pack for the Carenado Baron 58. We are currently situated at the General Aviation Parking at San Francisco International Airport in the United States. The Reality Expansion Pack is developed by SimCoders, and essentially it is a plugin that brings in an extra level of realism to the not so well made Carenado aircraft. Now, I get overly excited when I receive a notification that a new RAP is available for a Carenado aircraft simply because the guys at SimCoders invest considerable amount of time and effort into developing those plugins. And let me tell you, those plugins bring in a lot of features to the flight sim through the Carenado aircraft. So you've got your checklists, you've got your walk around, your engine maintenance hangar, hypoxia, realistic aircraft behavior, custom sounds, and many other features, which really makes this plugin worth both my time and the price that I paid for it. So what we're going to be doing for this video, captains, we are going to be taking a look at RAP, how to operate it, some of its features, and then we're going to be taking the aircraft for a flight around San Francisco airport to really put RAP to the test and see what it really does. After successful installation of the Reality Expansion Pack, you should receive the control panel on the left-hand side of the screen. The knee board will give you access to the aircraft checklist, including normal operations, emergency procedures, and reference speeds. You can use the arrow keys to cycle through the reference speeds for different phases of flight. It also comes with a near accurate walk-around feature, where you can pretty much perform a close to real procedures for a walk-around. You can also check some of the control surfaces, so you can check your elevators, you can check the rudder, and you can also check the flaps. I'm not going to go through the entire walk around. I just want to really show you the features that the Reality Expansion Pack has to offer. And also, you've got a custom tow feature to push back the aircraft. And this is where it gets really interesting, the hangar. Now you've got control over maintenance of your cylinders, your starter, your spark plugs, fuel filter, the oil system. You can actually change the type of fuel to be used in the aircraft, as well as the vacuum pump. And of course, this is simulated for both the right and the left engines. The engine tools provide you with a winterization kit and an engine preheating unit for winter operations. The electrical and avionics, as you can see, the battery has been, discharged a bit here, and also the avionics, some avionics behavior is simulated. Now, it's very important that the avionics master switch is not turned on or off while the engines are not running. So you need to have both engines running and then start the avionics, or otherwise you may actually damage the radios. And we'll see if this is also simulated in this particular Reality Expansion Pack package. Landing gear and tires. Again, the landing gear, brakes, and all three tires are simulated. So you can experience wear and tear, or if you do hard landings like I've done in one of the test flights, as you can see, the left and right tires are a bit worn out. And this actually is very realistic because in the test flight that I've done, I landed pretty hard, and I landed, of course, with the rear tires first. So that is depicted here, where the wear and tear was on the left and right tires and not the front. All right, I think enough of that. Let's go ahead and take off. Before we do that, there's also weight and balance, which is also a great feature. And you can actually load the aircraft, the middle seats, rear seats, the baggage, You can also specify the landing center of gravity prediction, and it will calculate everything for you, and it will tell you if you are within the safe limits for takeoff and landing. Another great feature, I think, in the Reality Expansion Pack. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to fire up the aircraft. We'll taxi to the runway, depart San Francisco for a short test flight, and put Reality Expansion Pack to the test. Okay, so we are now ready to get this aircraft prepared for departure. Let's make sure that everything here is turned off, which it is. And by the way, one thing I noticed is that if you leave the battery, if you leave the lights on, you will drain the battery. Even if you turn off X-Plane and shut down your PC and come back the next day, it will discharge your battery. So make sure that you turn off everything before you leave the aircraft. Okay, so let's see. Parking brake is on, battery on, left alternator is on, right alternator is on, and we'll turn the beacon lights on. And now, here's the thing. We're going to start the engines, but I have the throttle actually mapped. So I have one of my throttle quadrants mapped to all throttles. So that means that if I move the throttle, it's going to move both of the thrust levers. So that's fine. Let's go ahead and see what's going to happen. Okay, let's see if we get different behavior from the default Carenado, at least. Yeah. So we're going to do mixture rich on the left engine, and now we're going to do full throttle. I'm going to turn the fuel pump on. Okay, and then throttle to idle, then half an inch open. And now let's try to start the left engine. Right, and we have a good start on the left engine. Now let's try to do the same thing for the right engine, and we should actually get slightly different behavior. Okay, so let's watch the fuel booster pump here. Okay, now as you can see, when we did the first engine, the fuel indicator went real quick and we heard the fuel booster pumps, and now we almost are getting nothing. And that's of course because I did not follow the proper procedure, but it looks like the engine is ideally primed. So I'm going to go ahead and try to start the right engine. There we go. It took a while to start the engine, but we did actually get it started. But that's of course not the correct procedure. And as you saw, the Reality Expansion Pack really depicts proper behavior for engine start, or at least near to reality, which is great. Okay, so we need to wait for the so I've done a test flight, so the CHD temperature is already in the green arc, so we're good to go, as a matter of fact. So let's turn the avionics on, nav lights on, taxi lights on, and what else do we need? You know what, let me go ahead and turn the panel lights on so we can see. I think that's much better. Trim for takeoff. Okay, let me actually adjust the trim here. Alright, so we're pretty much good to go now. What I'm going to do is release the parking brake, and let's go ahead and taxi to the runway and depart. Parking brake released. I'm going to go ahead and slam on the brake real hard now just to see if there are any custom sounds. And those sounds are definitely, and that squeak is definitely something that is not in the default Carenado. So this is definitely the works of the Reality Expansion Pack. So we're a small aircraft. I'm going to go ahead and set flaps for departure. So we don't really need the full length of the runway to depart. We're going to take off at about 80 knots. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a turn here and get lined up with the runway to depart. Alright, and let's turn on the landing lights. Taxi light off, strobes can go on. Alright, here we go. Mixture is rich, prop is on full, and what we're going to do is we will slowly advance the power until we reach 80 knots, and then we will depart. So far, so good. Alright, let's slowly advance the power. I really like those engine sounds. Right. Rotate. And positive rate, gear up. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to climb to about 1,000 feet, and then we're going to perform a test to see how the prop sync operates. Alright, so we're at about 1,000 feet now. So let me start adjusting the pitch. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn on the prop sync and then reduce the props. Alright, that is, it says you should normally manually reduce the RPM difference below 25 before enabling the automatic prop synchronizer, which is correct. Okay, so let's bring this back. Let's turn this off. And let me bring the RPM down. Alright, now let's listen to the engine sound. Okay, now the engine sounds do not appear to be in sync. There we go. I think you can hear it clearly now that the engines are not in sync. Alright, let's go ahead and turn on the prop synchronizer. Did you hear the difference? There is definitely considerable difference as the engines are now synced. So the prop synchronizer definitely did what it's supposed to do, and it looks like there is a runway right over there on the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to land over there, but what we're going to do before that is we're going to try to do some things that we're not supposed to do and see if the reality expansion pack will kick in and let us know. Alright, I think this is a good point for us to begin our turn. Okay, so as soon as we align with the runway, I think we're still not quite there. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to push the power all the way to max. Alright, and okay, I'm going to lower the landing gear now. Okay, it says avoid operating the gear above 152 knots, which is correct. Alright, let's go ahead and reduce our speed. So it did detect that, the speed wasn't safe for the landing gear to be lowered. Okay, we have 3 greens, so I guess we didn't really damage the landing gear. I'll tell you guys, the sounds are phenomenal. The custom sounds that REP brings to this aircraft are just really very well made. And you can really get a lot of enjoyment flying this aircraft. Alright, and flaps are down, gear is down, And we're about at 100 knots. We need to reduce speed just a notch. I think 90 knots is a good speed for landing. But too low. Alright, there we go. And touchdown. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to slam on the brakes again. Real hard. Alright, and let's exit the runway right over here. Alright, I think let's just go ahead and stop. Parking brake set. Now, there are a few things that I want to do. I want to kill the fuel, but I'm going to leave the avionics on. Alright, so it says never turn on or off the engine with the avionics master switch in the on position or you may damage the radios, which is correct. Alright. So let's go ahead and turn off the master avionics. That sound is really well made. Alright, so let's turn off the aircraft, and now let's bring up the maintenance hangar. And let's see what damage did we bring to this aircraft. So our engines are fine. And avionics, the battery, of course, has discharged just a little more. And let's look at the... Alright, so now, as you can see, our landing was a bit of a hard landing. And we slammed on the brake a few times, real hard. So the landing gear, as well as you can see, has also worn a bit because of the stuff that we've done, you know, because of the things that we've done that are incorrect. So we lowered the landing gear above 152 knots, and that has caused some wear and tear to the landing gear. Now, of course, you can fix that. Also, as you can see, the left and right tires have really sustained some considerable wear and tear with our landing, as the landing was a bit hard. So now it's kind of turning into yellow, and that means that you know, at some point we'll probably need to fix those. And the front tire is still fine, and again that confirms that you know, the simulation of wear and tear or damage is very accurate. As you can see, the Reality Expansion Pack brings in a lot of realism. It brings in a lot of fun, it brings in a lot of realistic characteristics. And so I highly recommend it. For me, I think it's worth both the investment in time and money. And if you are up to the challenge, then go ahead and get the Reality Expansion Pack. Captains, this brings us to the conclusion of our video today. I hope that it has been a useful and informative video. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other. I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye for now.